In this video I tell you what 99% of all photography beginners do wrong. To all of the mistakes, of course, I will give you some solution that you can avoid them in the future, and all of them I recognized on people around me and of course on people attending my workshops, so you can learn something great now. Number one is to take not enough images. And you might think now or say now, when I'm on vacation I take like 1 million images and I usually take too much images, and that is true in some part, but what I recognize is that people go to locations, they take the camera and they take one image and they go on to a next location, they take the next image, and in the end they have like, let's say, 100 images, but each image is totally different, a total different location. And what my approach is to go to, let's say, a nice tree here, and you take one image of the tree. Then you take some time and look at the image you've taken, and then you say, okay, let's take it maybe in portrait mode. Then you take the same image again. Then you go maybe a lower angle, take the same image again, and then you maybe go on the right hand side, take the same image again, then you look for foreground and so on. So you have a process with the one little thing, the one location you photograph, and every image of that one location looks different, but in the end you have like 20 images of the same location. All of them are different. You can then choose what is the best image from that one location, and not what is the best image of 1 million locations I just photographed, and in the end maybe one is good but a lot of images are not good. And that is what I like about photography, the developing in the perspective, in the maybe mode you take, portrait or landscape mode, in the foreground composition and so on. So then you start to really photograph and not only to take snapshots. Number two is to put too much in your images. And not too much effort, not too much energy, not too much Photoshop. That might be some mistake a lot of people do, but take actually too much of information in one image. In German there's a saying, you can't see the forest because of all of the trees. And that's why we chose that location here. It's not actually a forest, but a lot of fruit trees, but it's kind of the same. There's so much information around that it's sometimes tough to see what you want to see in the image. Let's say there might be a leopard somewhere behind me, sneaking here around in the Black Forest. And when you want to photograph the leopard now and want the viewer of the image to see the leopard, then you want the image to be focused only on the leopard. And how can you achieve that? Maybe with a blurry background. So everything that is blurry is not interesting for the eye. It might look beautiful, but it's not interesting. And the eye of the viewer then goes from blurry to sharp, to everything that is in focus, maybe then on the leopard and not on the trees. When you would take the same image, let's say with a wide-angled lens and maybe on f8 with a fast shutter ISO 100, and as mentioned, very wide-angled, then everything would be in focus. You have trees, you have the grass, you have the leopard, you have the nice sky, a blue sky, you maybe have a sunset, and so on and so on. That's too much information in the image. It's nice for Where is Waldo, if you know that, but it's not nice for actually a great photograph. And I do the same in landscape photography when I do longer exposures, because a longer exposure leads the eye of the viewer from the blurry or smooth water back to maybe a solid rock, or maybe back to some nice mountain in the background, or away from some blurry clouds to some jetty or some bridge. So try to avoid to make a too full image, like with a tree, with some grass, with a leopard, with me, some beautiful woman, sunset, northern lights and Milky Way. That's too much in one image. Try to concentrate on maybe 2 or 3 maximum elements in your image. Number 3 is a classic mistake, and maybe I mentioned it already in some other videos, but it's worth to mention it again because it's so important. The mistake goes like this. You want to take a nice image and you just snap it, and then you just look on your screen and you see, damn, the image is blurry. But why is it blurry? I focused right. And the mistake was that you had the wrong shutter speed. Your shutter speed actually was too slow. Yes, it can be too slow. And there is something to avoid that, a rule of thumb. In German you say a rule of fist I have no idea why, but yeah, let's just do it like this. So the rule of fist or of thumb is to have a shutter speed that is at least as fast as your focal length is long. So let's say, simple example, I'm on 35mm. So my shutter speed has to be at least 1/35th of a second fast. Better is even to take double of your focal length. So let's say 35mm, 1/70th of a shutter speed. There's actually no 70s, but you can take 1/60th or 1/80th of a second shutter speed. Let's make a different example. 100mm. How fast does your shutter speed need to be? Write it in the comments below. Yeah, that's your homework actually. And with that rule of thumb or fist or whatever, I wish you some sharp images. Oh, and when we talk about thumb, give thumb up for that video. Hit thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Quick commercial. If you want to learn more about photography, landscape photography, image editing, check out learnfromben.com. This is my website, and there you find video courses you can download on your computer. And I want to know now if you are one of the 99% that did one of those mistakes I just talked about, or maybe even do them still today. You can then avoid them in the future. Or if you belong to the 1%, then this flower is for you. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.